Hi everyone, welcome to chapter 21 of The Adventures of the Wishing Chair. Now, in the last chapter, in chapter 20, we came across the word quarrel. I'm wondering if any of you figured out what that word means. We know that Molly and Peter had a quarrel, and then they had a quarrel with the pixie who left. And quarrel means like an argument or a bit of a fight. They said some unkind things to each other, and we all have a little bit of a fallout from time to time. But Molly wanted to put it right. And when she went to find the pixie at his house to put it right, she realised he wasn't there. And actually, he has been taken by, we think, the enchanter. So in this chapter 21, it's called the Enchanter Clip Clap. So we're hoping that Molly and Peter can rescue Chinky the Pixie back on the magic chair. So let's begin. The wishing chair rose high up and flew steadily towards the west. It had a long way to go, so it flew faster than usual, and all of its four wings flapped swiftly. I wonder where the enchanter lives, said Molly. I hope he won't capture us too. Well, all this would never happen if we hadn't quarrelled with Chinky, said Peter. He wouldn't have gone back home, and then wouldn't have gone out to buy a new handkerchief, and then wouldn't have been captured by the yellow bird that swooped down on him and took him away. Oh, I'll never quarrel again, said Molly. It made her very sad when she remembered the unkind things that she'd said that morning. The chair flew over a wood. Molly leaned over the arm of the chair and looked down. Look, Peter, she said. What's that funny thing sticking out of the wood? Peter looked. It's a very, very high stone tower, he said. Isn't that strange? It's just a tower by itself. It doesn't seem to be part of anything. Not a part of a castle, I don't think. I say, the chair's flying down towards it. Do you suppose that that's where the enchanter lives? It must be, said Molly. The children looked eagerly downwards to see what sort of tower this was. It certainly was very queer. It had a pointed roof, but no chimneys at all. The chair circled all round as it flew downwards, trying to find a window, but there was not a single window to be seen. This really is a very magic sort of tower, said Molly. There's not a window anywhere. Well, there must be a door at the bottom, or else how do we get in? The chair flew to the ground and stayed there. The children jumped off. They went to the tower and looked for a door. There was not one to be seen. The tower was quite round and very tall indeed, higher than the highest tree. But it had no doors and no windows, so it seemed quite impossible to get into. Molly and Peter walked round and round a great many times, but no matter how they looked, they could see no way in. Do you think the pixie's in there? Said Molly at last. Sure to be, said Peter. We told the chair to take us to where he was, you know, and now we're here. Well, what are we going to do? Asked Molly. Shall we call for him out loudly? No, said Peter. If you do that, then the enchanter will know we're here, and he might capture us as well. Don't do anything like that, Molly. Well, how else are we going to tell him that we're here? Said Molly. We must do something, Peter. We can't just wait. It's no good standing here looking for doors and windows that just aren't there. Shh, said Peter suddenly, and he pulled Molly behind a tree. He heard a noise. Molly caught hold of the wishing chair and pulled that behind the tree too, and just in time. There came a loud noise like the clip-clapping of thunder. A great door appeared in the round tower, half as high as the tower itself. It opened, and out came the enchanter, Clip-Clap. He was very tall and thin, and he had a long beard that reached the ground. He wore it in a plait, and it looked very queer. See you finish that spell properly, he called to someone in the tower. Then there came another loud clapping noise, like a rolling crash of thunder, and the door in the tower closed, and it vanished. The enchanter strode away through the woods, his head almost as high as the trees. Goodness, said Molly, we only just got behind this tree in time. It's impossible to get into that tower, Peter. We should never know how to make that door appear again. What are we to do? Sighed Peter. I hate to think of poor Chinky the Pixie in there as a prisoner, and all because we had a quarrel. Let's hide the chair under a bush and see if we can find anywhere living here, said Molly. We might find someone that can help us. So they carefully hid the chair under a bramble bush and piled bracken over it to hide it. Then they found a little path and went down it, wondering where it led. It led them to a small and pretty cottage. The name was on the gate, Dimple Cottage. Molly liked the sound of that. She thought that they would be safe there. They knocked the door. To their enormous surprise, the door was opened by a little brown mouse. She wore a check apron and a cap, and large slippers on her feet. The children stared. They could never get used to this sort of thing, although they'd seen so many strange things by now. Good afternoon, said Peter. Then he didn't know what else to say. Do you want to see my owner? Asked the mouse. Well, yes, that would be a good idea, said Peter. So the mouse asked them in and showed them into a tiny little drawing room. What are we going to say? Asked Peter. But before Molly had time to answer, someone else came in the room. It was a small elf with neat silver wings, silvery golden hair, and a big dimple in her cheek when she smiled. Molly and Peter liked her immediately. I'm just going to show you a little picture here of Molly and Peter arriving at Dimple Cottage. You can see the little mouse who greeted them. And you can see the lovely little path. It definitely looks like a lovely little cottage. Good afternoon, she said. What can I do for you? Both talking at once, the children tried to tell them all their worries. About how they quarrelled with Chinky the Pixie, and how he had gone home and had caught in the yellow bird belonging to the enchanter Clip-Clap, and how the wishing chair had brought them to the strange tower. But we don't know how to get into it, and we're afraid of being caught by Clip-Clap too, said Peter. I don't know if you can help us. I don't think I can, said the elf, whose name was Dimple. No one knows a spell powerful enough to get into the enchanter's tower. I've lived here for 300 years, and no one has ever got into that tower except the enchanter and his servants. I wouldn't try it if I were you. But we must, said Molly. You see, Pixie's our own friend, and we must help him. Yes, we have to help our friends, said the elf. Wait a minute, I wonder if my mouse knows anything that might help us. Harriet, Harriet! The little servant mouse came running in. Yes, ma'am, she said. Harriet, these children want to get to the enchanter's tower, said Dimple. Do you know any way in? Well, yes, ma'am, I do. Oh, you do? Cried Molly. Do tell us, Harriet. My auntie lives down in the cellars of the towers, said the little mouse. Sometimes on my afternoon off, I go and see her. And how do you get into the tower? Asked Dimple. Down the mouse hole, of course, said Harriet. There's one on the far side of the tower. I always scamper down there. Oh, said the children in disappointment, looking at the small mouse. Well, we couldn't get down a mouse hole. We're too big. You are a big mouse, but even so, the mouse hole would not take us. Molly was so disappointed that she cried into her handkerchief. Dimple patted her on the back. Don't do that, she said. I can give you a spell to make you small, and then you can slip down the mouse hole with Harriet, and you can see if you can find your pixie. Oh, thank you, cried the children in delight. That's so kind of you. Dimple went to the shelf and took out a box. Out of it she took 2 little pills. They were queer because they were green on one side and red on the other. Here you are, she said. They're like little sweeties. If you take those, you'll be small enough to go down the hole. They taste a bit horrible, but never mind. The children took the little magic sweeties. They certainly had a funny taste, but they were very magic indeed, because no sooner were they eaten than Molly and Peter felt as though they were going down in a lift, for they suddenly grew very tiny indeed. They looked all the way up at Dimple, and she seemed enormous to them. Harriet, take off your apron and cap and take these children to your auntie, said Dimple. So Harriet carefully folded up her cap and her apron, and then went out with the children. She took them to the tower, led them to the small hole under the wall. Down here, she said, and down they all went.